What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we have the gorgeous 2025 Mercedes G63 AMG. I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to the team at Coleman Cadillac here in the Washington, D.C. area for allowing me to review this beautiful G-Wagon here today. They recently acquired this car in their pre-owned inventory, and I'll have all their contact information in the description box below. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the G-Wagon at this point. However, to provide a little bit of additional background, the first generation of the G-Wagon was actually initially developed as a military vehicle back in the early 1970s. Later in 1979, Mercedes actually converted the G-Wagon for civilian use. And the first generation of the civilian G-Wagon obviously ran from 1979 to 1991. It featured body-on-frame construction and a very rugged-looking exterior. It was known as the W460 internally. Obviously, subsequent generations followed, such as the W461 in 1992. Then you had the 463 from 1990 to 2018. And lastly, this generation, which debuted in 2018, which is known as the W464. Like I was saying, the G-Wagon actually received a facelift for the 2024 model year, which changed its generation code to the W465, and it included a couple changes such as revised front and rear bumpers, better aerodynamics, new infotainment, and actually new engines, and the introduction of the all-electric G580. But starting right up front, you really can't mistake this thing for anything other than a G-Wagon. It has such a unique presence. It has a very boxy and upright proportions. You can see the trademark Mercedes-Benz Pan America style grille finished in black. That's part of the AMG night package, I believe, that's equipped on this example. You can also see the circular full LED headlights with the LED turn signals actually up on the front fenders right there, which looks very cool. Another easy way to tell that this is the AMG G-Wagon is that the brush bar, this painted black bar right there, is actually only covering the bottom part of the bumper. If you were to get the brush bar on the G550, it would actually cover the entire front grille and headlights. Obviously, the aim of the game of the G-Wagon in general is off-roading, so you have around 9.5 inches of ground clearance. You have fully functional skid plates underneath, if you can kind of get a glimpse of those under there. You can also have some additional cooling, I believe, for the G63 with these openings for the oil coolers right there. You'll also have the blacked out AMG badge, like I was mentioning, as part of that night package. While we're up front, let's go ahead and pop the hood and talk about what's powering this beast. So you have Mercedes 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's codenamed the M177. It's direct injected and has a 48-volt mild hybrid system for the facelift to help with auto start-stop and a couple other accessories. It makes 577 horsepower and 627 foot-pounds of torque. It's connected to Mercedes' kind of multi-clutch 9-speed automatic transmission. Compared to the standard G-Wagon, it actually removes the torque converter and gives you that multi-clutch setup. Like all AMGs, this engine is hand-assembled. You can see the plaque of the individual who built this one, so thank you very much for building this absolutely beautiful G-Wagon. It's full-time four-wheel drive, obviously, and it has triple lockers, so you can basically take this thing anywhere you'd like to go off-road. Fuel economy, if you care, is also rated at 14 in the city and 16 on the highway for around a 396 total mile range on a 26.4 gallon fuel tank. 0 to 60 with the new launch control feature that's available on the facelift G63 is rated at 3.7 seconds, and top speed, if you dare, is rated at 149 miles an hour. Curb weight is 5,800 pounds. And just for some additional info on the rest of the G-Wagon lineup, the 4-liter V8 that was found in the G550 non-AMG model has been replaced with the electrified straight 6. And obviously, like I mentioned, you also have the all-electric G580, but those are two totally different reviews. Moving around to the side, you can see these optional and absolutely gorgeous 22-inch AMG forged monoblock wheels finished in matte black. I'm not sure the exact option price, but I'm sure it was well north of a few $1,000s. They are wrapped in a 295/40 size tire. And for the AMG G63, you can hopefully see the upgraded 6-piston calipers behind there with the 16-inch cross-drilled rotors as well. These are one of the best looking factory wheels that I've ever seen, in my opinion, and they are a staple and hallmark of a lot of Mercedes models, so they fit right at home on this very beautiful G63. As we move along, you can see some additional V8 bi-turbo badging here right on the fender that is specific to the AMG. And on the refresh of the G-Wagon, they actually included new aerodynamic elements, as you can see kind of along the windshield right here and along the roof. That's actually to help increase the range of the all-electric G580, I believe. Moving along, you can also see the side exhausts that are a staple of all G-Wagons, or at least the gasoline-powered G-Wagons. The AMG version, obviously, has these kind of night finished tips right there with the AMG logo that look absolutely beautiful. I believe the AMG night package also includes the blacked out running boards as well. And as we take a few steps back to look at the overall profile of the G-Wagon, you can see it's actually not a very long car, but it's very tall. It's only around 191 inches in total length with a 113-inch wheelbase. As we move along to the rear, you can see the full-size spare tire that's hidden away in this very beautiful Mercedes branded tire cover. You also have some additional AMG badging, as you can see on the left side right there, and the G63 on the right side. Full LED taillights, and this one is equipped with the towing package as well, so you have all of the hookups right there. I believe this thing is rated to tow a maximum of around 7,000 pounds. If we go ahead and check out the cargo capacity of the G63, as you can probably tell, the door actually opens sideways, so you want to make sure, obviously, there's nothing in the way when you open this massive thing up. And as you can see, you have a decent amount of space back here. It's a very square or rectangular style space. And with the second row folded up, like you see here, it has around 37.5 cubic feet of total storage. If you were to fold that second row down, you'd have around 68 cubic feet. As you can see, it actually doesn't really create a full flat load floor. You have this kind of hump right here. I'm not exactly sure what this is for. Maybe some battery components for the mild hybrid system. But you do have a nice cargo cover right here and a pass-through in the center seat right there. You also have beautiful materials back here, like this leather on the door panel. So just really nice attention to detail overall. And I just want to show you guys how you close this thing. Mercedes does give you a nice handle right here, and it takes a little bit of muscle, obviously. There's no power assistance, so you kind of have to slam it shut. Let's go ahead and check out the rear seat of the G-Wagon, and you'd actually be surprised to find out that it's not that spacious back here. I actually had to move the driver's seat up quite a bit, and you can still see there's not a ton of leg room. And with the kind of upright proportions, it's a little bit difficult to actually get inside, but I'll go ahead and try and navigate myself in here. And as you can see, like I said, the driver's seat is all the way up, and I'll zoom out. You can see I have basically no leg room. Headroom's pretty good because of the tall, frame of the car, but still, you have some climate vents back here, which is nice. Temperature control, and I believe a 12-volt socket down there. Let's go ahead and hop on the driver's seat of the G63, but before we do so, I'll show you guys Mercedes key. It is the kind of newer Mercedes design with the lock, unlock, the panic, and this would be the power trunk on the other Mercedes models, but because of the side swinging door, this one doesn't have it. You can see the AMG badging right there, and I think the night package finishes the key in this kind of piano black trim, which is very nice. But for the G63 or the facelift G63, Mercedes was actually able to implement a smart key access, so you can just press your hand on the handle like so, and put your finger on this little pattern right here to lock it. But as you guys probably heard, the hallmark of the G63 is this door unlocking and locking sound. It just sounds like an absolute bank vault. If you go ahead and lock it, you can hear just a really solid feeling. If you go ahead and unlock it and open the door again, you can hear just a crazy solid feel overall. A lot of people love that feature about this G-Wagon. Taking a look inside, the material quality on this car is absolutely incredible. You have stitching everywhere on the armrest in the Bengal red color that I said that this one was equipped with. You also have the carbon fiber trim that's specific to the AMG models, upgraded Burmester stereo. This one also has the active multi-contour seat upgrade package, so you can see these gorgeous AMG sort of bucket seats. They adjust in 20 different ways on the door right here. You have 3-person memory, heating, ventilation, and massaging. You also have some very nice accents down here, such as the AMG aluminum kick plates and the G-Wagon sort of certification badge right there, that this thing has been tested and certified to go off-road, or whatever Mercedes likes to call it. If we go ahead and hoist ourselves up, you do have these running boards right here, but they're actually pretty thin. They don't really fit a full-size shoe, so you kind of have to grab onto the steering wheel because there's no handle right here. But just hoist yourself up and you're inside. But let's go ahead and fire this beast up. With the AMG models, I believe Mercedes gives you the race start feature or the emotion start. I remember this feature on my C63, so you can put your foot on the brake and kind of hold a paddle shifter and press the start-stop button, and you get a much louder exhaust sound. As you guys can hear on cold start, this thing sounds absolutely incredible, and actually a cool feature with the door open, you can actually see some of the smoke out of the exhaust right to the side, obviously due to the exhaust being right there. So really unique experience. Let's go ahead and rev this beast up, and you go ahead and put it in sport mode with these dials on the steering wheel, which we'll talk a lot more about here in a second. You can probably hear the exhaust valve opens up a little bit. As you guys can hear, this thing sounds absolutely incredible, and with the side exhaust, it's basically right in your ear. But let's go ahead and shut the door, and you can listen. You really have to slam it, but it sounds so satisfying when you shut the door on this car. But when you go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel, you have the updated multifunction wheel for the facelift G63 with the gorgeous aluminum paddle shifters. And you have the dual 12.3-inch displays right here. On the left side of the steering wheel are actually the haptic controls to go through the various displays in the gauge cluster. If we go over to the left, you can see the AMG specific ones such as the Sport with all the vehicle parameters and stuff. You can go over one more time for an even sportier view in the Super Sport right there. But one of my other favorite displays, if we actually go to the right, you can see these haptic controls are a little bit interesting to use, is actually the off-road menu right here where you can see the pitch and the roll as well as a compass. You can also do a full screen map, which is again one of my favorite displays here. Just a really nice high quality display. Further below on the left side of the wheel are all of the adaptive cruise settings. You can see the forward collision alert as well as the distance settings. On the right side, you have the haptic controls for the MBUX infotainment, which we'll talk about in a second. Some volume controls and Bluetooth phone controls as well. These are the AMG dynamic select dials right here. Right now we're in Sport Plus, but you can actually twist it all the way over to the left to go into individual to set the car up as you'd like. Like I said before, you can leave it in comfort mode like so. I love that it's color and the colors change. Over to the left is actually where you have a little bit more customization. Right now, you can see it's traction control and auto start stop, but as I'm going through the menus, you can have the suspension control, the active exhaust, the drive mode select, AMG dynamics, and this bottom one, similar, you could just touch through the various icons or menus. Very, very nice. Continuing on to the infotainment, this is the 12.3-inch MBUX screen. You can see I use the controls right here if you'd like on the steering wheel, but it is a full touch screen. You can see all the various apps and navigation and things of that nature. If you go over to the right, you can see the off-road settings that are specific to the G-Wagon. Just really cool data right there. If you go back to the home menu, you also have the AMG performance pages right here that, again, is specific to the G63. This is one of my favorites right here where you have a live readout of the engine torque and horsepower. You also have the consumption data right here, and I believe this is an IWC stopwatch if you want to take your G-Wagon on the track or something. This is one of the easiest and most responsive infotainment displays that I've ever used. You can see how everything just clicks through so quickly. So hats off to Mercedes for really developing a nice infotainment display. I love all the carbon fiber trim that wraps around the display as well. Beautiful red stitching on the top of the dashboard. Everything feels really nice and high quality. You have a really nice grab handle with the manufacturer logo right there, again, finished in carbon fiber. And as we continue below, you can see the triple lockers right here for the differentials, I believe. You have the off-road cockpit button right there, which brings up the same menu I showed you guys before. You also have gorgeous aluminum vents right here. I think these are called like the turbine style vents because they kind of resemble an airplane turbine, obviously. You can see the ambient lighting colors kind of surrounding the interior as well. I forgot to show you guys, but if you go into comfort and actually have the different brightness and colors, you can see, I think there's 64 different colors you can choose from. And I think I forgot to show you guys as well the seat massaging settings as well for the front driver and passenger seats. Continuing below, you have the manual climate dials or buttons right here, so I really like how they're not kind of buried in the infotainment touchscreen or anything. You have fan speed, dual zone climate, obviously pretty self-explanatory. If you open up this gorgeous carbon fiber trim cover, you can see the wireless charging pad, 2 USB-C charging, as well as a standard 12-volt socket. You also have heated and cooled cup holders. Right now it's set to the heated and the ambient lighting is actually red inside the cup holder, but if you go ahead and turn it to the cool element, you can see the color changes as well. A little bit further down, you actually have the haptic touchpad to go through the MBUX infotainment. Not my favorite method of actually going through everything here. I would just probably stick to the touchscreen that I was showing you guys before, but you do have a home button right here and a back button. This is the AMG dynamic dial right here. You can see you can go through the various options, very similar to what we showed on the steering wheel. You can see this button pulls up the full 360 camera system, just an incredible overall view of this truck. You can basically zoom in on any angle. If you're going off-roading, this is probably a really useful feature. I do like how you also have kind of a favorite or star button right here. When you press it, you can see you can set this button up to actually pull up any menu or a lot of menus inside the infotainment. So really nice customization there. You have a volume scroll wheel right here, a navigation map button that obviously brings up the full screen map. You have the radio media as well as the telephone. As we move a little further back, you can see the gorgeous leather-wrapped center console. Very nice storage in here, a USB-C charging outlet. And if we look above, you can see the frameless rear-view mirror as well as the interior lighting controls. You also have some additional Burmester speakers up here, full Alcantara headliner, and a standard kind of sunroof, no panel roof on this car, but you do have some additional Burmester speakers up here with the ambient lighting illumination. I will say, guys, this interior really does feel like it's worth $200,000. Everything is stitched in leather, beautifully built, carbon fiber trim, gorgeous flat bottom leather wrapped steering wheel. And the seating position of the G-Wagon overall is amazing as well. Such a commanding view of the road. If you go ahead and put a turn signal on, you can actually see it in the front fender. So just an amazing experience in here and well worth the price tag, in my opinion. All right, guys, welcome to the inside of the 2025 G63 AMG. This is already one of the most unique driving experiences I've ever had, and I've only driven it out of that parking lot back there. But the first thing that I noticed immediately is how commanding of a view this is. This is one of the tallest probably vehicles on the road in terms of like box seat proportions and stuff like that. And you just sit like so much higher than pretty much anything on the road outside of like lifted trucks and stuff like that. And obviously what comes with having such box seat proportions is that this thing is very top heavy. I can immediately feel like the whole body is like swaying back and forth while you're kind of hitting bumps and stuff like that. It's a very interesting feeling. Obviously you want to disable the auto start stop, but just sitting at the stoplight, you can also hear the V8 is rumbling right to your side, obviously due to the side exhaust, but it's just a really overall crazy experience in here. Let's go ahead and flip the dial into Sport Plus right here, and you can hear the exhaust did get a little bit louder. The steering is also a lot heavier. I think this has electric power assisted steering instead of a hydraulic unit, so you know, it did get a little bit firmer. I'm not sure if this has like adaptive dampers or anything. I'm not sure it does due to it having such like an off-road capable platform. It's not really getting too upset over bumps or anything. Obviously, with the off-road capabilities of this thing, little bumps in the pavement and potholes really are not a concern, but it's still really nice to have such a, you know, comfortable experience. The V8 isn't too loud when you don't want it to be as well, so it is a Mercedes, you know, after all, and they've really done a great job with this newest generation G-Wagon and kind of refining it and making it, you know, a really nice place to be. I went ahead and put the truck into sport mode and downshift a little bit. Just this thing is fast. 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, and it's such a different experience than pretty much any other acceleration in a sedan or SUV that I've experienced. The front basically lifts off the ground, and like I was saying, the whole vehicle kind of sways side to side, so you're basically holding on for dear life with this truck as you accelerate. It's not a very big car, it's more tall, so you can actually maneuver this thing really well. The hood drops down nicely, and you have a really obviously commanding view of the road, so you can see out of this thing really well. I will say that the brakes are interesting on this thing. I know it has the upgraded 6-piston units compared to maybe the standard G550, but the pedal feels a little bit squishy at the top, but once you really put your foot in it, you can feel this thing is ready to stop. I'm not sure if ceramics are an option, maybe like on the upper trim G63 or something they're available, but you know, obviously this thing's not meant for the track or anything, so I wouldn't really worry about kind of overheating them. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably like a little bit more brake feel at the top of the pedal, just a little bit more reassuring, but the power is definitely there, so it's just a calibration thing. I thought I'd take a second and talk about, really, there's no competition for this thing whatsoever. Mercedes has really a monopoly on this market. The BMW, Audi really doesn't make anything that competes with this. And actually, recent rumors have suggested that Mercedes is going to develop a new baby G-Wagon, which is even like a miniature version of this. So maybe something at a more affordable price point. But really interesting, you know, that there's nothing that competes with this thing, and that's why it's so popular. I can see why. It drives really well for what it is. You know, it's built amazingly well. Everything feels really nice. The off-road capability is something nice to have as well, even though a lot of people probably won't use it. So overall, this is a really impressive package, and I'm liking it a lot more than I thought I would. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the full tour and test drive of the gorgeous 2025 Mercedes G63 AMG. Just want to extend a huge thank you and shout out again to the team at Coleman Cadillac for allowing me to review this beautiful G-Wagon. It is for sale, and I'll have all their contact information in the description box below. But if you did enjoy, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe for a ton of great content coming very soon, and I'll catch you in the next one.